Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm Dina. Today I'm going to help you go through Google Slides and Google Drawings, show you the ins and outs, how everything works, all of the different tools and features that they have to offer, and how you can make some editable activities for your students. So let's go over to my screen and I'll show you how to work it. Okay, so let's jump right into Google Slides. If you go into your Google Drive, you can create a new slideshow by just selecting New and hitting Slides. You can name your slideshow whatever you want. So let's just do sample since we are making a sample. And then I usually just delete this because it kind of comes set up, but I don't really need it. So now if you want to change your layout of your slides, you can go under File and hit Page Setup. Usually widescreen is what is automatically there to help you with putting it on a projector. So it depends what you want. If you want to make it a regular paper size, you can change it to 8.5 by 11, or you can leave it something like this. Usually it does help on screens to create a little larger look. So if you leave it this size, it might help. Or if you want something that students can print as well, you might want to change it to paper size so that more students can use it without having any issues. So let's say I change it to make it landscape. You can do that as well. Up to you. So now I'm just going to go through some basic tools that you can use in Google Slides. Now this is the same as Google Drawings. The only real difference between Google Slides and Google Drawings is Google Drawings is just one page. So Google Slides, you can add multiple slides and create activities. Google Drawing is just going to be one page. So it really depends on your project and what you're doing. If you only want like one basic template that your students are going to do, or you want them to draw some kind of picture, then Google Drawings is a good choice. But if you want it to be multiple pages in one file, you're going to want to use Google Slides. But all of the settings are the same in both places, so it'll be easy to use both. So under Insert is where you'll find a lot of different options. You can insert an image, of course. You have the option of uploading it from your computer, searching through the web if it's saved on your Google Drive, or you can upload it from your computer. You can even take a picture if your computer or your Chromebook has a camera on it. Text box is inserting any kind of text. You can put audio, especially in a slideshow. You can insert a video from YouTube. So this is helpful for making some kind of complete lesson. You can add a YouTube video you want students to watch right in your lesson. Shapes can help with making templates and making some fun kind of projects. You can insert a table for information. You can insert any kind of chart. Word art is a little different than text box. It kind of makes like these fun bubble letter looking letters. So all of your information is pretty much under here. Now, the next thing you can do is start to make something. So let me show you a basic example of how you can make a template for your students. So let's say you wanted to have a chart where you were recording information and telling your students to fill out kind of a story setting, some kind of problem solving. So you could go under here and you can hit insert a table. This will make all of the boxes even, and this will allow students to record inside them. So let's say you want to make a basic kind of a chart, a template. I can come here and you can see that this is what automatically comes up. Now I want to make this look a bit nicer. So I am going to come over here and I'm going to drag it out real large so that all 4 squares are even. I am going to change the line color and the thickness of the line. So I tell my students the paint can is like splashing something in. So you can think of this is going to fill your color. So you might not want that if they're going to write on it. You do have the option of even using these, which are a little bit nicer. So I'm just going to leave it white because I want the students to type in it. You can change the border color. So let's say I want just a black border. And then this border thickness right here can make things stand out. So you might want to make things a little bit thicker. And then you have the option of creating dashes. So this is helpful depending on what you're doing. You can kind of create that look too. So now I'm going to add in my text boxes. Let's say I am going to put some word in for the title. And I'm going to kind of do this story reflection to have students fill it out. This is word art, so it's a little bit different than text because it almost makes the letters like a photo. You're going to have them and you're going to be kind of able to change them. So now you can go back to your paint can and I can make some kind of cool bright colors. I can change the way it looks. It's totally up to you the way you want. You can even come down here and create custom colors. So maybe I'm a pink fan and I want kind of light pink with white around the edges. I can play around. I can move this and you can see this preview of how it looks here. And I can change the way I have it set up. Okay. So I can play around with the look. And you can see how the edges are white, but the inside is pink. Now, if you add a little border to this, these letters will really look cool and pop. Okay. And then you can always change the font. So if you go under font, Google offers so much font. If you go under more fonts, you can search. So you can come on here and search any kind of font you want. If you want font that is good for display or handwriting. And once you click into it, it'll save. So you can see these are checked off because these are like my favorite fonts. If you go under display and there's some kind of font that you like, you can just check on it and it'll appear in your list. So they have tons and tons of fun ones. Okay, so if I want to change my font so it's a little more fun for my students, I can do that and change any kind of font. So you can see that these letters really pop and have a cool look to them. All right. Now I'm going to label each text box with what I want the students to fill out. So let's say the first one is, what story did you read? Again, I can highlight this. I can come over here and make it center to kind of fix it up. I can make this font a little bigger since it's a heading, and I can change my font to something different, change the color, make it bold, whatever I want. I can even insert a background just to fix it up a little bit more. I can insert a shape. So don't think of shapes as just like a plain shape, but you can think of shapes as also making a background for a header. So if I want to make this like a light blue, let's say, I can fill it in. I can remove the border, just make it transparent. Now it's in front of my text, but when I right click, I can send it backwards. And there you go. Now you got a nice little heading. So now instead of me repeating the same thing over and over again, I can actually take my mouse and highlight over this, and I can press Control C or right click and hit copy, and I can paste this so I don't have to redo it again. Now this came with it because I kind of highlighted too much. So you can see here that if that happens, just click out of it. I just want my text and my background to be copied. So this time I'm just going to make sure that I copy both of them together. Okay. So here we go. Now I can pull this one here and I can put something like, who are the characters? And I can then again order this and send this backwards so that it's behind my border. Okay. And now I can paste it. I copied it before, so I've got it still ready to go. And I can come here and say, and I can send this to the back. So again, it's set up. And I can say, what is the setting? Right? And I can do one more. And I can, again, send this to the back. This does take time because you're setting everything up. But once you have this template, you're kind of good to go. Let's say I wanted this to be something that my students type on. Now, if you give it to them like this, you definitely can just share this with them, but they're going to be able to type and move this items around. So if you don't want them to do that and you want to be able to just allow them to have this, you want to insert it as a background. So you're going to come here and you're going to hit File, Download, and you're going to save it as in JPEG. You can also save it as a PNG, but I would just do JPEG. So you're going to hit JPEG, and now it's going to download in your file. So what you're going to do now is you're going to then make a second version of this slides, because that's the version you're going to give to your students. So I'm going to create a new Google Slides. I'm going to delete these items so my slide is blank. And I'm going to change, remember I did change the page, so you want to change the page size. And I'm going to hit change the background. And I'm going to choose the image. I'm going to find what just downloaded on my computer. Here it is. And this is going to upload as my background. Okay. So now I can send this to my students, but I want to prepare it for them to type. So I can click on text box and I can add a text box here and I can just write type here. I can copy this text box and drag it over to each spot so that my students are prepared to type right in that spot. And now I'm able to share this with my students. Now they can't move or change the background. They can only click in the spot and type. So this is a way to eliminate, some issues with them moving things around. You can create your own little templates that they can then fill out. All right. So going back to my original slide, I can go on and create a new one. I can hit a blank slide. So you can also do something like insert a table and have more columns and rows. Maybe you're having your students label, do some researching different animals, okay? You can always, or you're having them record what items they did throughout the day, whatever you want them to do. You can make this, let's say I just wanted them to record what they're doing each day. I can label this in, all right? I can write, what did you work on? What is your question for the day, right? And again, just like I did before, I can come here and change the border colors. I can change the thickness, okay? And let's say I just want to pull this. I want to make this one a bit bigger so the kids could write in them. And I want these ones a little smaller. Okay, just drag this back up so it's not off the page. I can come here and select this font at once, kind of change this, too big, fix it up, whatever, change the font. Okay. And same with this. And I can give this out to my students. All right. Oops, too small. Now see that N is getting cut off, so you can just drag this up a little and there you go. Now you have the option too of making it centered, and then these little centers here actually center it within that box. So see how they got centered within the box? So just can make it look a little nicer if that's something you want to do. You can come here and again center it within the box and also just center it. Up to you how you want. But this could be another template. So again, if I download this as a picture, I can get this to insert in my next slide over here. I'm going to create a blank slide. I'm going to change the background, and I'm going to choose that slide that was just downloaded on my computer. And now I have my template. I can add in my text boxes so it's ready to go for my students. If your students are older, you might not need to do that. They might know that they could just insert a text box, so it depends on your students' ages. They would still be able to type right over this, but they won't be able to move any of the background. You can also insert a YouTube video. So let's say you wanted to give some type of lesson where you're first giving a YouTube video of you or something online. You can come here, you can search. So if I wanted my students to learn fractions, I could search for different videos. I could insert some kind of video that I would want them to work on. And then I could have these lessons after, and it can kind of give a full lesson. They could watch a video and then they could answer on some of these sheets. Now, when you insert this into Google Drive, Google Classroom, you'll be able to grade it and view each student's work separately. So it's pretty nice, okay? You can also use shapes to create fun kind of different text boxes and different sheets. So like there's these cool call outs. So you can kind of create this. Let's say if you had a template, you can make something where the kids would type in on this. Again, you can change the background. So maybe I want this one to be a certain color, right? And then you can have multiple shapes that you can add. And you can have students kind of respond and do questions through here. All right, so these could be some fun. And again, if you don't want the kids to touch the background, just download it as an image and then you're going to save it there, okay? You're going to insert it in a new slide. Also, you can download as other items. So if it's something you want to convert then to Microsoft PowerPoint, you can do that here under download. You can also save everything as a PDF. So if you wanted to save this and send it as a PDF, that's a possibility, or the images, okay? So it does allow you to do multiple things. Now, if you're going to share your file with your students on Google Classroom, you can go over to Google Classroom and you're going to want to click on the classwork tab and you're going to want to create an assignment. You do have to do this to give them their own copy. So if I come over here and I'm just going to write sample lesson. I can give them instructions and I'm going to hit add from my Google Drive and I'm going to select what I want to insert, okay? So if I'm going to insert this, I'm going to come over here and click make a copy for each student. You must do this. If you allow them just to view it, they're not going to be able to type. If you see this, students can edit. It's kind of tricky. It seems like, oh, that's what I want. But that lets every student edit the same file. And unless you want students to collaborate and all brainstorm together, you're not going to want that one. You're going to want to hit make a copy for each student. Okay, so once you do that, they're going to each get their own file. It's going to have their name on it. You're going to know whose is who. You can then decide on grading and what topic it falls under and if it's due. And once you assign it, you'll see that every student is going to get their own copy and you're going to be able to view it. When the students go in there, they'll be able to go and type right on and it'll be really easy for them. Okay. Now you can also you can see if I look here, I can see the students and they'll have it right there for them. So now going back to my Google Drive, you can also take something you already have. You might have, like, this is an example of one of my simple STEM activities. They come with slideshows, so you could take something like this. You can see here I have a video inserted that students would watch. I have a task card that they can view and see what it is you want them to do. And then I've got some response sheets. So if you wanted your students to insert a picture, again, they would be able to do that. They would go to insert image and they could upload a picture that their parent, let's say, took with a cell phone, or they could even use the camera tab if they're using a Chromebook or a computer, and they could hold up their item and take a picture of it, whatever it is, and they can insert it right on here. If you wanted them to type something and you already have something that isn't set up with typing, you can take that and just add your text boxes right over it, and your students will be able to type. So if you have purchased something from another person, or you have some resources from another program that are pictures that you're able to use for your lessons, you can add your text boxes and just add them in as backgrounds, and you'll be able to write on them. I'm going to show you as well Google Drawings just so you could see it. So if you go to your Drive and hit more, it's kind of hidden sometimes, but you can go under Google Drawings and you'll notice that the settings are all the same, but this is a little bit more similar to Publisher. It's kind of like an art program. So if you go under File, you can change the size to any size you want. Again, if you want to make it like a regular paper size, you can do 8.5 by 11. And then you'll see here that your settings are all pretty much the same, but this is just a one-page version. You're not going to be able to do multiple pages at once. But let's say you wanted your students to brainstorm and draw a sketch of something, or you want them to use shapes to build like a robot or build a character. You can give them just this sheet and they can do that. They can go and insert various shapes and different items and change the colors. Another difference is that you cannot add a picture as a background. So if you want to make a template like that, you're not going to be able to do it. It only allows you to do colors. So keep that in mind. If you're going to want to do some kind of template with multiple pages, then Google Slides is going to be the right tool for you. But Google Drawing is great for one-page items. You can also, under creating a new assignment in Google, you can also have them just add a drawing here. If you do create and add a drawing, they can just make their own. So let's say you came up with, use 5 different shapes and what kind of picture can you make with it? They would be able to just do that through here. So it is a great tool. It does have all the same options as Google Slides. So don't get too tricked up by that. It works just the same. So here's an example of an activity I made for my students. It's like a tic-tac-toe board, but with STEM. And you can see that this is a background. I created this background, but these are clickable. So I just put in text and I right-clicked and I hit linked and I linked this text to certain websites. You can search a website, like if I wanted to find code.org, you can see that it will search a website. Or what you can do is also link it to slides in the actual presentation. So you can see here that I have response sheets. If students do this activity, I want them to click on this response sheet and it goes right over to here. So again, this is a template, and then you can see that this gives them area to type. If they come over here, they can click here You can see that they can click on these items, and then these are the response sheets. So here's an example. I used a table to make this. I asked questions, and the students can type the information here. Or for this one, I created this fun with the shapes, and you can see they can type in it. All right. Here's even an activity with pictures. This is all put in as a background so the students cannot click, and you can see that here they can click. Okay. So if you like this activity, this is actually available for free in my Teachers Pay Teacher store, so feel free to use it, send it to your students, and I hope it helps you. I hope that helped you as you move through digital learning with your classroom. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at Miss Tech Queen, or you can email me, dina@misstechqueen.com. I will link everything. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. I'm happy to help you, and good luck as we all go through this journey together. Bye.